it would be key to watch the video I just uploaded to get the gist of this one, the one about balancing the elements and balance in all ways. Could say male-female principle too, balancing that, because when we are balanced within, we don't need to be balanced without. You got plenty of people that are picking up spouses, putting people around them, because again, we're all just humans or inhumans, and it's a human being, it's a human body, regardless whether it has a penis or a vagina. It is a human. A person with a penis can be predominantly female principled, and a person with a vagina can be predominantly male principled. That is not, it's just human. It's all really the same, but inverted, which is kind of just the same, really. So when I say it's a female's world, I'm saying it in a sense of knowing that as well. So you got plenty of people that balance out their over masculinity with female principled people around them, or vice versa. All that is happening. You got a bunch of people getting together trying to create balance externally with each other because they haven't achieved it within. And once you achieve it within, then your self can flow through you. The true self can flow through you. So once we've achieved balance within ourselves via fasting and letting go of the illusions and delusions, that all comes with achieving balance physically, which will create a balance mentally. You won't be angry in your thoughts, or however, you won't be you won't be overly fiery or over repressed and watery. You won't be too down to earth and too dense. And you won't be airy. You won't be too light, like people that they say airheads. You won't be too airy. So when we have achieved the balance of the elements, female, male principle, the steps to success show themselves. It's like if the fog keeps building or the water keeps rising, the fire and the smoke they just keep clouding you, or whatever element is creating a problem. If you're too high on a ledge, in the air, then however it manifests, it all has a metaphorical value and a literal value. Whether you're on edge in a dream or in person, like in a dense layer. So the steps to success will show themselves once we get to this point of balance. And then we take action. See, we've created an balance, I guess you could say. We've created that to where something happens and then we react to it, but it's been manifesting itself for years or months, week, however long, and then you make an action and then you blame yourself for not having chose the right action. But if you meditate, premeditate, or whatever, however you want to look at it, all thought is meditation, all movement is yoga, really, or karma. So we get to that point where we're consciously making moves and plotting and creating our path. The steps to success for whatever we wish or will to happen, they show themselves. And then we take the action because we've already created it at a less dense layer, and then it's getting here. It's like the 30th time we've taken the step, but now you're going from a thought of taking the step to literally doing it, and then you just take the action. It's just part of the course. So when it comes to the art of suggestion, you got to break down the word suggestion in your thinking. Gestation, suggested thoughts. Gestation, basically germination, to create like the birth, the seedling of a thought that manifests and blossoms into our physical dense reality. So whatever you're gestating, whatever you're birthing with your thinking, you've already created it at a less dense level. And that's what I mean by having control of the balance in all levels, to where you're more aware of these other levels, to where you're consciously creating in all levels, to where there's not really a time delay between less dense and here. It's already, you can see it already happening, so there's no anxiety there because you already have created it. So it's just a matter of taking the steps that you yourself have already created. But people are hogtied at other layers, so they're less alive at this level, and they're not conscious. They're not consciously creating the path. They're not paving their own path. So the things that come down the path, they're unaware of because they're, for one reason or another, they're too dense or not conscious of their creative faculties. So when it comes to suggestion or auto-suggestion, when we inject something like that into the cells or makeup or the mind, because the cells are under the control of the thinking. So we inject it into the subconscious or conscious mind or brain, however you want to look at it. And the less aware you are of the other layers, the more open your subconscious really is. The more conscious you are in other layers, the more conscious you'll be in this layer. It will be a connection between subconscious and consciousness to where you can tap into that infinite or collective consciousness, and there's no wavering or conflicting thoughts. You're not too dense to where a thought will come in and conflict with what you're creating or what you will to happen and what you want as far as what you think will make your life pleasant. You have a conflicting thought injected in your subconscious at another level, what people will call inception or whatever, or in a dense level, come through a vessel and they'll say something and it'll get injected into you, and then you hear it in your own voice inside yourself, and now it's sticking to you in your thought process because you're too dense to let it flow through you, because you're not solid. But the more dense you are, the slower everything vibrates, because everything's in constant motion. So the slower you are as far as density and in all your atoms, your molecules, all that, it's all basically it's closer to death. Closer to death, because everything in life is in motion. Everything is in constant change but staying the same. It's like moving around the furniture in your house. It's all the same furniture, maybe. You cleaned up, but it's still the same house, same furniture. It's just changed but staying the same. So everything must evolve. And if it's not in an evolution process, then it's de-evolving. It's devolving. So it's on its way back to the soil and to extinction. So the steps to success will show themselves when we have found balance. If not, then we're just knocking on doors, beating on doors, instead of consciously opening the doors with keys that we've created, walking through them into houses or into places that we've consciously already created before we even got there. So that's the key to success. Success is something that we more or less attract than something we achieve or get to. You attract it. You attract the female that you feel is of a caliber that, if you feel like you need that. It's like that, really with anything. Any success, material or otherwise, you attract it. It's not something you search for or find. And if you do search for it and find it, I feel like every time I got to that point for searching for something, you get to a point where you can't appreciate it, because it's like, I did all this for this, and it's not what it was all cracked up to be, because of all I gave to get it. It doesn't really balance out there. So then now you have a resentment towards yourself there because of all the energy you gave. Like someone striving so hard to work their way up a company, and then they realize it's just snakes around them, sharks around them. Because we're in an ocean, so you got to be wary of the leeches and the sharks. We're just in a less dense ocean. It's all here. The crabs in the bucket, you got to be worried about all of it. We're not worried about it, but you just have to be aware, I should say. Shouldn't say worried. So, yeah, we attract success. Success shows itself. The steps show itself when we found balance within ourselves. Then it'll all be in front of us because it came from inside of us.